going on, fellas, and welcome back to the home experiment. As you can see, this is where we left off the last episode. Home had just won the Evo Stick Northern Premier League Division 1 East. Not a mouthful at all. Very easy to say. Very nice. Well done, everybody. They've been on a bit of a promotion push. As you can see, it's 2025 currently. So we've done 3 seasons? I've holidayed 3 seasons. And in the next part of the video, I think it's 5 years that we're going ahead. So we are going to find out where Home are in the year 2025. Okay, they're in the Vanarama National League North. So after being promoted from the Evo Stick Northern Premier League Division 1 East, they went into the Evo Stick Northern Premier League and got themselves 7th. 17 points off second. Not a terrible season. At the same time, there is some teams that you would look at and go, it's surprising they're down here, like Boston United. Kind of surprised that they're this low down. Chorley, Gainsborough Trinity, Matlock. Big enough teams, I think anyway. Maybe I'm wrong. The season after, they dominated the league. 13 points ahead of Boston. Poor Boston. Droylsden ended 19th, almost going down. Whitley Bay in 21st. They did quite well in the 23-24 season. So well done. Congratulations to Home. And if we jump to the Vanarama National League North, 14th with 53 points. So 20 points away from relegation. And it's a 7th place. 13 points behind York. Yeah, so pretty much bang in the middle of where you kind of expect them to be, I suppose. Well, you'd hope that they'd be there or thereabouts. But to be fair, I think 14th place, their first season in the Vanarama National League North, not a terrible way to go. They are still in the Vanarama National League North. They haven't been moved to the south, and they're 11-1. So 11-1 to win, or 6-1 to win the league. It's not terrible odds, to be fair. I think, but it looks like the top 12 look fairly sorted, and then the bottom 4 are, I suppose, the bottom 2 are very much like guaranteed to go down, according to the odds makers. Lewis Longstaff is one of the key players. Doesn't make it into the Dream 11, and Owen Sawyers. Actually, have a look at Lewis Longstaff. He had a very good first season. Didn't score quite as many. I suppose he didn't score many goals to begin with. It was good average rating in his first season, bang average in his second. And who else was it? It was Owen Sawyers. It's a striker. He's ex-Arsenal, 27-10 last season. Again, really low average. I know it's AI managers, but still you'd expect somebody who's scoring 10 goals in a season, scoring 10 goals as a striker. Alright, we'll have a look at how. So, Longstaff is their key player, and their hot prospect, Matthew Williams, a Welsh under-21 international, wanted by Eastleigh, ex-Man United. So Kev may not be in charge, but they're still doing Kev things, bringing in Premier League rejects to play for them. And as a right back, he scored 4 goals in his first season. None of them were penalties. It's not bad. I would have expected the majority of them penalties. And then in his second season, scored 2 in 25, but had a 6.54 average rating. Not really that good. Cameron Seaborn is the new manager. Was assistant manager at Brimscorp and Thurp. Then was assistant manager and caretaker manager at Banbury United. How's he been getting on since he's taken over? He has been in charge for 122 games. 61 wins, 33 draws, 28 defeats. 50% win ratio. It's not terrible. Have they had... No. I was going to say, have they had many managers since Julian Watts? No. They don't seem to be overly aggressive when it comes to sacking managers. They're no Watford, I suppose you could say. Evastick Northern Premier League champions, promoted, obviously. Let's have a look at their finances. They have 281,000 in the bank. Again, do it in euros still, because I keep forgetting to change it. Because all my other series are in euros. Because I am from Ireland, so... Transfer budget of 74k. And a wage budget of almost 10.5. That's not bad at all. Playing in Kiln Park. So what happened to... How come it doesn't say here that they should move stadiums? So it's for Rawn's Town. When did Holme move in here? Does not say, but they're moving into Home Stadium in 5 months, or 3,426 capacity. Okay, so obviously they're getting fans at their matches. Let's see, home game 280 against Blight Spartans. 121, 156, 124, 200. They're friendlies. So you wouldn't expect many. Oh, no, they're not friendlies. They're cup matches. 209, 81, 100. I don't really see a need for such a big stadium at this level, but alright. Against Chesterday, nearly 500 people show up. 333 of them were away fans, but still. And against York, they had 806 people show up. 536 were away fans, but still. It's one of their best attendances. Against Kettering, they had 713 away fans. Okay. Obviously, knew who was still in charge. He obviously thinks that they're going to have enough about them to fill a 3,000-seater stadium, even though they're not even getting 1,000 fans in a 3,000-seater stadium. It's fair enough, I guess. They were still playing at Homewood the season before. Yeah, and they moved to Kiln Park at the start of this season, or was it the end of last season? Let's go to a home game here. No, still playing at Homewood. What's going on with Homewood now? Absolutely nothing. It's just been abandoned. It's just sitting in the middle of home, just with nothing going on. That's a bit sad. That's poor Homewood. You'd think that like a small, I suppose, like they wouldn't even half the time they wouldn't even fill Homewood as it is. Interesting. Is there anything else we'd be interested in seeing? What I might do is go to the Premier League and see is there any crazy teams after going down or going up in 2025. Derby won the league. There's nothing insane so far. We're only in the Championship, but it's fair enough. League One, Bolton are surviving. Bury, rest in spaghetti. Lincoln are doing quite well. Wigan, Still in League One. That's good. Okay, it's not terrible. We're not as bad as we used to be. So depressing. Blackpool in division League 2. Fylde are doing relatively well in League 2. It's not bad. And anyone in Vanarama National League that... Okay, Wickham shouldn't be there. Wickham are a good team. Crew. Oh, that's sad. We've already had a look at National League North. Hornchurch are in... Oh, so we're seeing some movement here with AFC Hornchurch. Interesting. Torquay. Yeah, like I said, Holme are in the Vanarama National League North now. So can they push on in the next part of this episode, which is going to be going up to 2030? If I remember correctly. I've decided we're going to start doing 5 years at a time from now on, just to kind of get this series moving a little quicker, because we only did 4 years in the first episode. But yeah, Holme not doing too badly after their relegation in the first season, moving into Vanarama National League North this quickly. Quite good, and they're expected to be solid mid-table. Exactly bang on mid-table. Which, you know, somebody has to be mid-table, and for Holme's progression, hopefully it's not mid-table for too many years, because that would be sad if they stayed in mid-table for forever, basically. One thing we haven't done before I go on to the next one is we're going to have a look to see potential. Lewis Longstaff is the highest current ability player. Just going to look at all players, and is this just easier? He is the highest current ability, with Owen Sawyers in second, and the highest potential player is still Scott Casket with 120. He's 29 years old. He is never going to hit that potential. Hayden Lawrence, the right back from Barbados. Hadan, sorry, not Hayden. Yeah, Barbados. If this was FIFA, you turn around and say, oh, he's probably Emerson Boyce's regen, because he can play right back, centre back, and he can play as a wing, on the wing back. Josh Doherty, 29-year-old, never going to hit that potential. Never going. Who wants him? Easily. I was going to say, if he'd want to play some team higher up, I'd be like, maybe I'm wrong, so. But they do have a good few players with 100 plus potential, but their best player is never going to hit 100 potential. He's only worth 250 quid. Who is their most valuable player? Scott Casket. The fact that he's still at home is interesting, because I would have expected him to move to League 1, League 2, maybe, or maybe even just go to the Vanarama National League. But what do I know? So we will be back in just a second for the next part of the experiment, where we're going to go into the year, we're going to be going from the year 2025 to 2030. So we will be back in just a second for that. Alright, fellas, we are now back for the next part of the experiment. As you saw, Holme finished 14th in the Vanarama National League North last season. So have they progressed and maybe gotten top 7? Because that's for the playoffs, isn't it? I'm pretty sure you have to finish in the top 7 to get in the playoffs. So have they made it to the playoffs? Have they gone down? Maybe they got relegated. 8th, okay. So they got 8th with 64 points. So there was goal difference. Yeah, it was goal difference was the only thing that stopped them getting into the playoffs. Southport ended up going up or getting into the playoffs because they scored or conceded 5. Well, scored 5 more or conceded 5 less. So that's progress. It's good. This is good. We're seeing progress with Holme. They're went from 14th last season to 8th this year. So that's always progress is, one step forward is better than one step backwards most of the time. Unless you get into the Premier League and you're really not ready for it, then a step backwards is good, I guess. Sorry if I've sinus issues. My face hurts. So sorry about all the snifflings. See how they got on in the 26-27 season. Okay, back down to 13th. This. So let's see. I think we're going to base it off the fact that I think 7th is where the playoffs are. So that's 67 points. They 15 points back. They went from missing out by 5 goals to 15 points. And they weren't that far away from relegation. Alfreton really, I wouldn't say gave them a scare, but still that's quite close. So what happens in 27-28? One back up to 8th. Again, missing out by 1 point this time, so at least it's not goal difference, but losing out to Boston United. York and Southport going up, which is interesting. York really shouldn't be at this level. They should be a lot higher. They're a much better team than that leads you to believe. Kings Lynn finishing in 16th. One of my old favourite teams, Altrincham, finished Altrincham, whatever, 17th. I did a road to glory with them in FM10 or something, where I got them promoted from the very bottom to the very top, and we could not win the Premier League. It was fun. So yeah, 8th place in, it seems to be 14th and 8th is kind of their favourite positions in this league. Would be nice if they got into the playoffs, if they were scrapping here. Maybe they got top 4. Be a nice bit of progress for them. 28-29, 6th. Okay. With 69 points. That's good. Kidderminster absolutely smashed the league. And they relatively comfortably ahead of 8th place Cruz Ashton, 65. I guess we're definitely seeing a lot of progress now. This is huge. They made it into the playoffs, and we'll have a look in a second to see how they got on in the playoffs, what level or what round of the playoffs they got to, because they would have been drawn against Boston, they would have played against Salford. I think that's how it works. I would think they would have played Salford, and whoever won that would have played Boston. I think. It's been a while since since I've had to go through the playoffs in National League. And the season just finished, dropped back down to 10th. This was a close season, 57 points for them. 7th place South Shields at 62. So they were fairly close to getting back into the playoffs again this year. Boston missing out again. And Salford winning the league this time. So that's interesting. We are going to have a look and see how they got on. This is 28-29. Knocked out in the first round by Salford. Okay, fair enough. They would have gone into their new stadium as well. Actually, let's go back a couple of seasons. This was the season they were playing in Kiln Park. So this season, they were playing in Holme Stadium. Very good. 3,426 seater. Still don't understand why they needed that, but okay. League game against Bashford, 194, 350. A lot of 100 and odd people coming in. 246 against Dunstable in the Emirates FA Cup 4th qualifying round. Good job, lads. They knocked out by Peterborough, fair enough. You know, Peterborough are a significantly bigger team than them. 133, 275, 159. A lot of 413 against Crew. 300 of them away fans. Yeah. Not Oh, that's what a local rivalry does for you. 1,038 people showed up to the game against Boston. 915 of them did come wearing Boston tops, you know, Boston kits. Then against York, 757 to 641 away fans. Yeah, the fact they built such a big stadium's not really coming up to, you know, not really done them well. They have, to be fair, they've got Boston at home at least once a year. So that's a large sum of money for them. I would assume they're going to be getting a tasty bit of cash from that. Like against York, 835, 641 away fans. Again, 1,054 against Boston. They beat them, and 842 of the fans were Boston's. I don't understand why they spent the money to build such a stadium. York had 7,717 fans, with 9 home fans going to that game. Unless something happened in recent years, they built a stadium for nothing. Like, they could have just continued ground sharing and it would have made more sense. But like, this is the kind of thing that could put a club into horrendous financial trouble, having to run a stadium that isn't sufficient or is too big for them, unless they're getting some sort of like grant, which I can't imagine they would. Yeah, that's a wave. But 6 fans showed up to Farsley Celtic, but 51 people showed up to the game in total. That's insane. They have like Boston United's the away game, almost 6,500 people show up to it. They really have very, very, very low. Like, even the Boston United game at home only got 743 fans. And now we're going into a new season where we have a couple of testimonials. Well, you're a Stowmarket player. You're a Westfield player. Bird? Yeah. Not a single testimonial for any of the home players, which is interesting. Let's have a look at managers. So they eventually sacked Cameron Seaborn. 134 wins, 85 draws, 87 defeats. Evo Stick Northern Premier League champions in 2024. Brought in Richard Smith as his caretaker. He won his only game, so undefeated. Is he still at the club? He is still the assistant manager. He is very good at judging or working with youngsters and man management. He's a good he's a good assistant manager to have. Then Jay Hilton came along. 23 wins, 8 draws, 22 defeats. I like this man. He does not like drawing games. It is either win or defeat. And he's won slightly more than he's lost. Progress. Oh, we never looked at transfers. Go back to 22-23. Brought in a couple of players on freeze. Got rid of a couple of players on free. No, Lewis Longstaff's retired. No! That's their best player gone. Owen Sawyer's retired. Okay. I don't think he was that old when they brought him in, but alright. Bunch of players went out. A load of frees came in, a load of frees went out. Pretty much what you expect with lower league. It's just a lot of free transfers. Lewis Longstaff came back in 26-27. Okay. couple more players released, a couple of loans, a couple of frees. All good. A lot of players coming in on free transfers and one random loanee. 4 players leaving on a free. 2 to Barnet. That can't be too bad. Where are Barnet? Barnet in the Vanarama National League. So they're 1 league above and they took 2 year players. Probably would have wanted to keep a hold of them. And again, more free transfers. And more free transfers going out. David Madu goes to Nigeria. Played 27 times for home. Ex-Sunderland Blackburn player. Going home to Nigeria. And so far this season, 2 more players coming in on free, and Danny Adams leaving for Cambridge. Interesting. So okay, financially, we'll have a look at the club finances now. Okay, they're in debt, as I suspected, with that new stadium that they're not even getting a third of the stadium full. They're 17,000 in debt with a transfer budget of €756. Fair enough. That's, you don't need transfer budget in lower level. Wage budget of just under 5,750. Facilities are the exact same. I think the corporate facilities have gone up. Rival clubs, as you'd expect. I'm surprised that Boston aren't on that list, because they seem to draw a huge number of fans for Boston. Favourite players, kind of makes sense that Scott Cashett's there. He's been Enoch Nuhu, without a doubt. I can't believe his level is 0, but alright. They don't dislike anybody, and they have no affiliations. Right. I think I looked at the landmarks already, didn't I? No. Moved to home stadium completed. Took a little bit longer than they expected. It was supposed to be done in November. They moved in February of 2026. And just a bunch of meh stats after that. Where are they expected to finish this year? 12th. Ooh. You'd hope that they'd push for playoffs again. Top 7. I'd ideally get top 3. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. Port Vale have dropped into the league. Didn't expect that, to be honest. I suppose you can't really expect anything in these saves. Anything could happen. We are going to look at the current and potential abilities for the players that are at the club at the moment. So lowest potential, or lowest current ability, is Nicky Byrne, 16 years old with 7. Got a bit of way to go. 50 potential ability, Neil Page, 19-year-old versatile midfielder, play anywhere in the middle of, midfield area. Everton graduate who didn't do anything. Played a lot of reserve games, joined home, 36-3 with 8 assists. Not terrible. He's the highest current ability, with Mark Worsnop, Alex Jones, Hadan Lawrence is still hanging about. Still on a non-contract. Fair enough. He's been quite the player for you. You think you'd offer him a contract. Where is he? Yeah, he's on a non-contract. And continued to be wanted by clubs. Dagenham and Redbridge and Morecambe. I would be very interested if he didn't leave. It'd be interesting to see how he gets on in the next lot of parts of the experiment. Wade Blanks is probably off to Welling. The lowest potential player is Kioski Crockwell, wanted by Little Cannon. Aw, that's cute. I like that name. He's been with the club since the beginning, has played 4 times, and he scored 3 in 2 games in the United Counties Premier and has never played since. I think this is very much was it? Oh, what was the name of the player that Kev had? And he was really good in non-league. And then when he got to like the championship, he realised he still had him at the club, but he'd just been in the reserves and he'd completely forgotten about him. He kind of reminds me of that guy. Just gets completely forgotten. Nobody knows he's there. He's just kind of floating around, happy out, just picking up a wage. Lawrence is the highest potential ability. Josh Gordon second, and Kane Evans all with 110, all on non-contract. Josh Gordon will never reach his potential, unfortunately. I'm sorry to tell you, but he's never going to reach that potential. He is 35 years old, and he could be going to Staines. Kane Evans, 29-year-old, he's probably never going to reach his potential. Came through Sunderland's youth academy, went to Aldershot, Morecambe, Runcorn Linnets, and now playing for Holme. He's been pretty average throughout his career. Never getting more than a 6.59. Nice. This is non-league as well, so you know, what do you expect, I suppose. Can we see what tactic? Okay, they're using a 4-3 or 4-2-3-1. Probably playing with a high press, you know, as everyone should do. It's so overpowered. It's fantastic. Yeah, it's interesting how they're progressing. They did have 2 good seasons here. We got 8th and 6th, and now they're back down to 10th. And like I said, they're expected to finish 14th, wasn't it? 12th. That's, you know, you kind of hope for a bit more progress at this stage. They still have poor youth facilities, poor training facilities, adequate junior and coaching, adequate youth recruitment. It's all a bit of meh at this stage. I'd be interested to see in the next experiment, where we're going to jump forward 5 more years, how will they get on in that? Will they make it out of the National League North? Will they make it into the National League? And if they do, how long will they stay there? Or will they spend the rest of eternity in the Vanarama National League North? It'd be slightly anticlimactic if we get to like 2040 and they're still in the National League North, because that'll be 10 more years in there, having already spent 6 seasons in there. If they spend 16 years in the Vanarama National League North, I'd be a little disappointed. Their key player, or hottest prospect, is Abby Doran, who's played 1 game. Interesting. Yeah, it's I'm really hoping that they push on. Their local reputation still okay finances. I don't know how they're okay finances. They're 17 grand in debt, and they were only okay finances when they had 17,000 or 27,000 in the opposite direction. I don't know. Anyway, if you have enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Comment down below to let me know what you think of the series, I suppose. If you've made it this far, thank you very much. You're a delightful human being, and I love you dearly. But other than that, yeah, we are going to do another 5 years in the next episode, and then maybe we jump forward 10 years total in the next episode, and we see how we get on. It's, like I said, I'm a little disappointed in the way it's gone, but thank you very much for watching, fellas, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!